Hello and welcome back. We are with the Bridgesimton challenge and we are with the D'Alessandro family, and we just have Giovanni over there practicing some of his writing. We are going to be seeing little Christopher age up into an infant in this episode, and that is going to be super exciting. As we know, or we don't actually know because we've never seen this family, but Giovanni and Contessa are super thrilled about their son Christopher. They have high hopes for him. They hope that he is going to be able to carry on not only their legacy, but their title, because they are a duke and duchess. And so they are super thrilled that they have a son that they're going to be able to rear up and that they're going to have later in life enter into the marriage market. And so they have really high hopes for him. So he is going to be aging up into an infant. We are obviously going to need to roll for him to see if he's going to make it for his infant years. And so he is aging up now, and he has gained the trait of calm. So we absolutely love that for him. We are just going to hop into Cass and give him his quick makeover and see what he looks like after his little makeover, and then we will roll. Okay, so we are just going to go ahead and open up the information here so that we can see what we need to roll to find out if he can survive for his infant roll. For an infant roll, they can't roll a 1, 5, or 10. So we are going to open up our D20, and then we're going to go ahead and give that a roll and find out if Christopher is going to make it through his infant stage or to his infant stage. So let's go ahead and open up our dice here. Open up a D20. And then we're going to give that a roll and see if he is going to be able to survive to his infant stage. And unfortunately, he does roll a 10. As we know, he can't roll a 10. So Christopher is unfortunately not going to be able to live for his infant. We are going to have to take Christopher away from his family. And so I will just put here on 1840 that Christopher D'Alessandro has died. That is going to be so tragic. Unfortunately, this family was only able to have one child, and Christopher was the child that they had. So this family is not going to be able to have anyone that is going to go into the marriage market. Their title is going to die with Giovanni. And I think that is really going to drastically change how Giovanni and Contessa feel. I think we are going to really see a change in them. So as you can see, I have gone ahead and taken little Christopher away from them. The house is really empty now, and it is really tragic. So it is just the two of them. They are just getting a little bit of rest, and when they wake up, we will go ahead and we will see them. But you can see here that it does show that he is deceased now, death by freezing on their family tree. And I will update that on the family tree that I have, that I'm keeping for them as well. But Giovanni is up. Unfortunately, it says he's happy, but he is actually pretty sad by the loss of his one and only son. You know, he had really high hopes for his son that he was going to be able to raise him up and teach him the ways of being a duke, and that he was going to be able to show him the ways and help him to learn all of the things that he needed to learn. And he was going to make him a respectable young man that would take on his title and marry someone of respectable, not really a title. She didn't necessarily have to have a title, but he wanted him to find a respectable young girl, marry, and have a legacy, and for him to carry on their name and their title. And now none of that is going to take place. And Giovanni is really upset knowing that now his title, his name, his legacy is going to die with him. And he is really, just finding this really difficult because unfortunately he's just devastated by this news. And I do think it's going to also pretty severely affect Contessa as well. Obviously, a son needs his father, and I think that Giovanni felt like he had the majority of the responsibility of rearing up their son Christopher and showing him the ways. But Contessa, obviously being a mother, was thinking, I'm going to be able to be playing a hand in that. I'm going to help him reach his milestones. I'm going to help him once it's time for him to reach the marriage market. I will help him find that respectable young woman. I'll give him my opinion on the ladies that he courts. And, she really looked forward to all of those things. And now that she's lost her son, she is devastated. And she knows that they're not having any more children as well. And she is thinking to herself, like, life as she knew it is basically over. And as you will come to see, she is going to turn to ways of trying to cope that are really unhealthy for her. And she is basically giving up on life as she knows it because of the trauma of losing her son. So I am just going to go ahead and get Contessa down here. I'm going to have her cook something for them to eat and get them something going on. I do think that Giovanni notices that his wife is struggling, and I think he, in a sense, kind of wants to be able to help her, but unfortunately he's going through his own turmoil and he doesn't really know how to reach Contessa. And so when she starts on her downward spiral, he doesn't really know how to reach her. He doesn't know how to help her because he can't really help himself. And so she just continues to spiral downward and downward and downward. And we're going to see her kind of go through this really negative downward spiral that is really unhealthy for her. And it's really unfortunate that she just kind of gives up on life. I am going to go ahead and do, I think soon, usually I wait until the second day, but I think I am going to go ahead soon and do their random selection roll. There is the opportunity on that random selection roll that you possibly in the family section could potentially roll in the family selection and be able to have another child. And so if we get lucky, we might be able to roll that this family could potentially have another child. So fingers crossed that might happen. And if they're able to have another child, that would be a wonderful thing because then they would be able to continue on. As it stands right now, with them not having any children, this family is potentially out of the running for the marriage market. They are now going to be out of the running of us continuing to follow them. There is no reason for us to follow them any longer. They are currently a duke and a duchess. They're at the top of the level, right under the king and queen, and therefore there really is nowhere else for them to go as far as up the ladder of society. And so they are really out of the running. So after this episode, if they can't have any more children, we won't be seeing them in our rotation any longer. This will be the last episode we see of Giovanni and Contessa. But she is just getting a little bit of breakfast going on here, and once we get her to finish up this breakfast, I'm going to go ahead and have both of them come down and grab a bite to eat. As you can see, they are both famished, and so they're going to grab themselves a bite to eat. This is where you see that Contessa is at her wit's end, and she is just devastated by the loss of her child, and she has decided that she really can't take it any longer. She's holding in way too many feelings, and instead of talking to her husband about it, which is probably what she should do, she's keeping it all bottled up inside, and she's not really talking to anyone about it, and she has decided to turn to the bottle. So we are going to see her start taking up drinking, and it's going to lead her into a little bit of a negative place, and I really do hate that for her, but I think in a lot of cases that is just what happens. But we're going to go ahead and do our random selection roll, and we're going to see if there is the potential that she could possibly be lucky enough to roll into the family section, and we can hopefully, be able to have another child. But let's go ahead and roll. As we know, from 1 to 5 are our options, and if we generate, we unfortunately roll in a level 1, which is financial. There are 9 selections in the financial section, so we are going to generate from 1 to 9. And if we generate, we are going to get a 3, and that says we are going to gain an amount of money from the crown for estate updates. Roll a d5 for a certain amount. So we're going to roll or generate from a 1 to 5 and find out what it is we get. And if we generate, we got a 5. So we are going to get $500K from the crown. Now, that being said, that's a lot of money. It's a substantial amount of money. They're getting $500K from the crown, which is fantastic. But again, as far as estate updates, they are at the top of the society ladder. They can't really get any higher than a duke and a duchess. They have their estate already. They don't need another estate. They have no heir to leave an estate to. So it's not like they're going to be purchasing another estate or more land to leave to another child, like to leave to a child. So there really is, in essence, nothing for them to use this money on. Generally, if I had a family that were in their position and they had children, we would purchase an estate, and they would purchase this estate for their child, and then their child would have an estate to go into. But that is not their case. They have lost their child. They have no heir to speak of, and they can't have any children. They are, in essence, dead in the water. This dukedom is going to end with them. So their story is a really sad one. As you can see, Giovanni is just getting himself something to eat here, and Contessa is really, really upset. Like, they have come into all this money from the crown, and she's thinking to herself, what good is this money going to do us? And that's gotten her even more upset, because she's thinking to herself, now we have this money from the crown that we could have given to our child, but he has died. And, you know, it just brings up even worse thoughts and memories for her, knowing that, you know, now they're in this position where they could be providing for their child in such a wonderful way, but they have no child to speak of. And it's really causing her a lot of distress. And so she, unfortunately, is going to head over and get into the liquor cabinet, and she's going to try to drown her sorrows away. And she is, you know, not going to talk to Giovanni about it. She's not going to speak about how she's hurting. Giovanni obviously is not talking to her really about how he's feeling either. They're both kind of keeping their feelings to themselves instead of really talking to each other about it. And you would think that they would potentially talk to each other, but instead they're not. They're kind of keeping themselves separated and dealing with their feelings on their own. She's led herself to the bottle, and he is just distracting himself the best way he can with anything that he can. You know, he's reading, and he's, you know, writing, and he's doing all of these kind of things, and she's drinking. That's all she's doing. She is just getting sloshed, and she is on a downward spiral, and she doesn't care anymore. She just wants to die. She wishes that she could just end it all and be done with life, because she doesn't want to live now that she's lost her child. And she just, life as she knows it is over as far as she's concerned. And she doesn't want to live anymore. And so she has essentially just given up on life. Giovanni obviously can sense something is off with her. He can tell that there's something wrong with her. He wants to be able to help her, but he doesn't know how. And I feel really, really bad that he's in this position, but he just doesn't know how to help her. He doesn't know what to say to make it better, because it's not anything you can make better. He can't fix this problem, and he can't make it go away. He's struggling himself. So as you can see, Giovanni is in bed. He is getting a little bit of rest. She is well and drunk. She is needing a little bit of socialization, so I do think that when Giovanni gets up, they will maybe have a little bit of a conversation. You know, occasionally Giovanni does go and have himself a little bit of a nightcap as well, but he is nothing like her. He kind of just gets himself a drink to calm his nerves and relax a little bit, but he doesn't overindulge. Nothing like Contessa's doing. Contessa is a little bit out of control when it comes to the drinking. She's starting to get a drinking problem. And I think that is, you know, Giovanni here is coming in to talk to her. He's come in to check on her. You know, he can sense her sadness, and he is trying to cheer her up. He's trying to talk to her a little bit. He is trying to have a conversation with her about their son, and he's like, I understand that you're upset. I also am upset. It says here that he can sense that something is off with her, and he thinks that she's on something, which is quite hilarious because clearly she is drunk. But he doesn't know what to do to help her, and so he is trying to talk with her. She's gotten herself in a little bit of a mood here, and it's all because of the alcohol, clearly. Something is not right, it says. Yeah, something's definitely not right with her. So he can sense that she's not okay. But, you know, there's nothing that he can do, really, and she's gotten a little bit flirty. She's trying to flirt with him a little bit. Again, that is the effects of the alcohol on her. But, I mean, she does love Giovanni. She has a good relationship with him. They are very much in love. But again, she's in deep mourning. Like, if she were not under the influence of alcohol right now, I do not think she would be flirty. I do not think she would be trying to do any kind of romantic advances toward him whatsoever, because she would be upstairs crying. But because she is drunk right now, she's doing things because she's inebriated. So she is flirting with him a little bit and, whispering sweet nothings to him and things like that. And he's like, obviously not taking those advances seriously because he's like, something is clearly not right with her. I don't really know what her deal is. Like right now, all he's wanting to do is talk about their loss and make sure she's okay and express to her that, clearly he's not okay. So he is attempting right now to try to talk to her and try to portray how he's feeling and try to get her to open up about how she's feeling, because he can sense that they need to talk about it. But she's obviously, thwarting that conversation, and she's trying to lead this conversation in a different direction because she's not wanting to talk about those things. She's not wanting to open up those deep wounds. She's wanting to deal with her pain by herself and drown those feelings out with the bottle. So he's trying to get her to open up, and she's refusing to open up. She's like, just dance with me. And he's like, I will dance with you, love. I love you very much. I just think that we need to talk. And she's like, we can talk later. And he's like, when later? And she's like, I don't know, Giovanni, just dance with me. So he's dancing with her. He's clearly obliging her, which is, noble of him, but I think part of him thinks to himself, I don't think she is ever going to open up and let me know exactly how she's feeling. And I think that is potentially true for how he's thinking. I don't think she's going to open up. I don't think she's going to share those feelings with him. He has decided he's going to go ahead and head off to bed now and get himself a little bit of rest. And she is, I'm fairly certain, probably going to end up heading herself back to grab herself another drink. Because let's face it, she is not tired at all, and she is now alone. Her husband has gone off to bed, and she's alone. And so she's thinking to herself, well, I have nothing to entertain myself. I have no baby to take care of. Which then, once again, gets her thinking about the loss of her child, and she can't deal with that. And so she's going to drown that feeling out. She's going to drown that thought out. So she's come in here. She has started writing a little bit, but then she's thinking about her son, and she's like, I can't deal with that. So as you can see, she's gone and poured herself another drink, and she's decided she's going to have another drink. Now, mind you, she's already drunk. Like, she doesn't need any more. But she can't stop herself. She can't, she has no off switch when it comes to drinking. Like, she is clearly creating herself a bit of a problem. She's clearly creating herself a bit of a drinking problem. And she is not thinking about the fact that she is becoming an alcoholic, but she is well on her way to doing just that. In her mind, the only thing she can really think of is, I just want to die. The quickest way she can feel like she can do that is the destruction of herself, and the easiest way to do that is at the bottom of a bottle. And so she is desperately trying to seek a way out, and that is her out. So she's sitting in her bed right now, drinking this drink, and she is well and utterly wasted, it says. She is wasted. Well and utterly wasted. But she's going to go ahead and get a little bit of rest. It looks like Giovanni is up now. He is going to go ahead and clean up a little bit. It looks like there are some things that kind of got left around the house. It's probably her leftover glasses and things from where she'd had her drinking binge. And he's thinking to himself, like, what has gone on here? Like, he does not understand at all. But, you know, she was up all night long just getting wasted. And he's going to go ahead and go in here and lay with her. But they've gotten up. We are going to go ahead. We're going to send her down. We're going to let her get a little bit of cooking done. He's working on a little bit of painting. But unfortunately, this family is no longer going to be with us in our rotation. They unfortunately have lost their child and do not have anyone to enter into the marriage market. There's nowhere else for them to go, considering they are a Duke and Duchess. They are at the top of the society ladder with no children to bear. And so we are going to be saying goodbye to the D'Alessandro family, and that will be it for them. So I am going to go ahead and leave this episode off here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when new episodes go live on the channel. And I will see you guys in our next episode of the Bridgesimton Challenge, where we are going to be back in with our royal family to start the beginning of our second rotation round with everyone. And we will hopefully make some more progress on everyone in the sense of them meeting some more of their skills, so we can get that one step closer to getting everyone towards the marriage market, which is going to be really, really exciting. As you can see, she is once again having her breakfast, and she's automatically thought about going and getting a drink. She's got a massive hangover right now, but she's like, I need a drink. And she's heading herself over to go and get herself a drink. So poor Contessa. I mean, I don't even know. But I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here, and I will see you guys in the next one. And until next time, I'm going to go ahead and fly for now. Bye, Ravens.